I think a lot of people, I mean, Instagram has really amplified all these, like, people showing off
110%.
stuff,
Sure.
you know?
Mhm.
Especially
Um,
now during the pandemic, right? Where everyone's like, start your own business so you can have financial security and independence. And it's like, it's not that easy, man.
exactly. And the thing is, um, like even like with the car thing, like I go to events like for business.
Mhm.
You get out of your car, you go to the event. No one thinks, okay, what does this person drive?
Right.
You know, it's like the car doesn't go into the event with you. The car doesn't go into the bookstore with you, wherever you're going. You know, it doesn't.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. And like another thing that like I really learned was like even when I would travel and stuff, like it was all off of points. Like I like it's points.
Yeah.
Smart. Credit cards, man. We gotta figure that game out too.
Yeah.
So it's just like everyone's like, "Oh, how did you go to Tokyo and stuff like that?" Mark's balling. I'm like, "No, I spend my money wisely, you
Mhm.
know?"
Let's get it going. Ready?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to the Gradual Grind. I'm Evan Anderson.
I'm Jonathan Marcel.
Uh, December 13th. This week we had a conversation with an entrepreneur. His name's Mark Nanez. He does advertising, marketing, coaching, all that kind of good stuff to help promote businesses. A lot of gems. What do you think, Marcel?
Honestly, it was a good conversation. So Mark's an old friend of mine. We'll introduce him a little bit later on in this next section. But
Mhm.
good guy, dope dude, had a lot of knowledge. I thought honestly it was a much better conversation than I thought it was gonna be. I mean, we talked about a
Mhm.
lot of different things from,
Yeah.
the anxiety of being an entrepreneur
Yeah.
to, how to deal with that. Him growing his business and what his next steps are and, how he went about it. So it's
Mhm.
definitely full of, a lot of knowledge there.
Yeah. He talks a lot about kind of the, if you want to call it, like the game of owning your own business. Like we go through his routine, how he separates himself, his goals. Like dude is really about getting to that next level personally for himself, and there's just a lot of knowledge that you can take from that, from somebody that's doing it. And he also goes over, courses, investing in himself,
Yeah.
which is something that me and Marcel talk about a lot, that we want to do. But yeah, so I hope y'all enjoy it. Hit that like and subscribe button. Also go holla at Mark and click on his link in the description.
Good. Awesome. So, welcome to the Gradual Grind, Mark. This is just a weekly call Evan and I hold to kind of discuss and talk about our entrepreneurship journey and the struggles we face. So, we thought you'd be a perfect person to kind of hop in and, talk through your journey, what the things you face and things you succeeded at, just to kind of give people that are watching, which is like seven, a good view of, what it's actually like to be an entrepreneur. But just some
Yeah.
quick background for those of you watching. This is Mark. Is it Nanez or Nanez?
9 years.
Nanez, yeah, I knew
Yeah.
I was missing the Enye. But this is Mark Nanez. He's an old friend of mine from El Paso. We used to hoop together at this, local gym. Mark went on to go to Texas State, and now he owns a digital marketing company, right?
Yep.
Awesome,
That's right.
perfect. So honestly, Mark, we're just here to kind of pick your mind. So I think the
Yeah.
first question we both have is just like, tell us about your journey. Tell us about like college, what you did, and what got
Yeah,
you into the marketing space.
absolutely. So I mean, I made my college decision off of like sports,
Mhm.
you know. So I was going to go to a university. They were ranked like top 24 in the nation, but they told me I was going to be on the bench. I didn't want to be on the bench, so I told them, "Hey, do you know of any other place I could go to?" They recommended another university, and I talked to the coach there, and he said, "Hey, you're on the team. If they recommended you, you're on the team." They didn't pick me up, so at that point, like I moved over there. I was already registered there, and I just didn't even know what to do because I only went there for basketball. But they didn't want me on the team after all. So I was like, okay, then maybe like I need to figure something out. And I think that's kind of where I first started getting into like, okay, I don't know what I want to do, but I need to reinvent myself. Right. And I think everyone
Mhm.
goes through different phases in life where you need to like reinvent yourself.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
So didn't really know what I wanted to do in college, but ended up doing sales, marketing and sales. And after that, I mean, I went into corporate America, didn't really like it. And from corporate America, I just started doing my own thing on the side, started growing. And now I service a lot of local and national clients.
Nice.
So your journey, all of that happens in like what kind of time frame? Like 5 years?
Yeah, I want to say, yeah, about 5 years.
5
So,
years.
I mean, I was selling tank tops out of my dorm when I was in college.
You know, I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that.
so,
You had posting on your Instagram. I think I
yeah,
tried to
so
buy one, but I was broke at the time. High school kid.
yeah. So we were selling tank tops, and they said like DTF on them. So like, you guys seen Jersey Shore?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it actually meant down to float, because there was a river.
Yep.
So they were really, really popular. And I actually got in trouble because it was a fire hazard, because there were so many people inside the dorm just waiting in line at my dorm. It was weird. Like, people would line up at my door. Weird.
Did you have like hours of operation?
Yeah, it was strange. But then, like, I think I started doing like influencer marketing before influencer marketing.
Okay.
Because like one of the first, like, he wasn't big at the time, but Bryce Vine, I don't know if you guys know who he is.
Oh yeah.
He started rocking my stuff, and I just found him on YouTube.
Okay.
So like, I started doing like influencer marketing before it was actually a thing. And I mean, I just kind of used that experience, and while I was in corporate America, I mean, I just told business owners, hey, I can help you out with social media.
Oh.
And that just started to grow. And yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at right now. But I mean, that was 5 years, and I've been in business for a little over 5.5 years right now.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. Real question is now, how much did you bring in selling those tank tops?
Oh man, I don't even remember. I know like the first like week we sold like 150 tank tops, and I was surprised.
Dang.
And at that time I was like, man, this is a lot of money, you know?
Especially in college, right? You feel like you're balling.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
At any point, did you have like a mentor that was like leading you through when you started to, because you said that you were kind of reaching out to corporate for helping with social media by yourself, and you were ahead of the time. So
Yeah.
like was there anybody that helped you, or is it just kind of all on your own?
You know what? Like, I didn't have anyone like in person, and I don't think I've ever had like anyone in person.
Okay.
But I think this is also really important to understand, because I feel like a lot of individuals are looking for like an in-person mentor, right? But I mean, we're in the time period right now, like, we're all talking virtually.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I have all these books; those are my mentors. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
YouTube, that's my mentor. And I think we're all like blessed right now to be in a point where, like, hey, you want to focus in on someone that's like unattainable to get their time for, they could be your mentor, you know? So like, for me, that person was Grant Cardone.
Okay, that's my guy too.
And that guy like got me straight when it came to like corporate sales. Now I mean, I made the investment of getting into his mentor program, going to the event next year.
Okay.
You know, so that guy's like, I mean, that's my biggest mentor right there.
That's awesome.
And YouTube is free, by the way, so all of y'all
absolutely
claim. Yeah. But my biggest question is, I think Evan and I had several discussions throughout the past few weeks about buying into courses, right? And of course, Grant Cardone is one of those guys that is really pushing his course and his mentorship program.
Yeah.
What do you think about the overall course space, right? Because I feel like everyone nowadays has a course or has some type of platform.
Yeah, I have a course. So I mean, I think it's good, you know, but I think it's like, you need to, I mean, there's a lot of courses out there. I think when it comes to finding the right course for anyone, it's more of a, hey, do I align with their methods?
Right.
Because I can't take on, I mean, I've spent a lot of majority of like the money I spend is like on courses, because I'd rather invest it in myself. And like, I've tried a lot of different courses, but it's all different like methodologies. When you start doing that, then you can't really master anything, you know?
Yeah.
So I just think it's really important, if you're going to do a course, just like go all in on it. Make sure whoever's teaching it aligns with the way you view things, or if you like the way they view things and you're okay to adopt their viewpoint, then try it out, you know?
Yeah. I'm considering taking a course right now, and I've just been following this guy really closely. And one of the things that he emphasizes on before even taking this course, he's like, you have to be an action taker, like an executor, because if you anybody, he said like there's a stat that like 1/5 of people actually finish courses that they purchase. So like I just also think it's important to, like what you said, to make sure that it aligns with what you're doing and what you're ready for. But
Absolutely.
I'm definitely in. I'm
Action.
definitely in for it for courses.
Yeah, it's just all about taking action.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I align with that stat because I bought a few courses to learn certain things or learn new skills, and I can tell you half of them are still sitting on my Coursera or my Udemy. So
Yeah. No, I hear you on that. And I mean that's why like I realized that I was kind of concerned about creating a course. And I mean I see a lot of people that will start and like stop, you know,
Yeah.
but I'm still small enough to where I reach out to every single person. I'm like, hey, I noticed like you're not doing this. Like, what's going on? You know?
Right.
So I feel like a lot of people don't get that accountability. But I mean, right now I'm at the point where I can still hold people accountable.
Yeah.
And that's good research and development for you, right? Like you can see like what, held them off or made them hit a bump that made them stop, because then you can, flatten out the curves and the lumps and then have people, smoothly go through it. I think that's
absolutely
a great point there.
Yeah. So are you kind of a one-man operation? Do you have anybody that you're working with?
Yeah, I have a small team.
Okay.
So, I mean, right now it's 3 of us, probably bringing someone on board beginning of next year. So
Okay, that's
we're
awesome.
small.
Nice.
So your specialty is just like social media and just brand marketing in general?
Yeah, so 3 main services: management, advertising, coaching.
Okay.
Coaching has really been like exploding because a lot
Okay.
of people just want to learn how to do it on their own, you know.
Right.
And this is kind of like the whole taking action thing that we see as well, you know, like, or that I see quite a bit. Like people just they want to do all these things, right? But it's also on me to make sure that they're taking the action. So a lot of times, I mean, there's a million things we all need to be doing, you know, but when you start to break it down, just focus on like one of my biggest like things I've heard from Brandon Bouchard, Grant Cardone is keep the main thing the main thing. You know, everything else is extra. So as long as you focus in on the main things, get it done. I mean, the nice to haves are always going to be there. You know,
Right.
like, okay, maybe I should be doing this a little bit later on. It's always going to be there.
Yeah. Dope.
So I guess can you break down the three sectors you said: management, advertising, and coaching?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which one would you say is your biggest, I guess, one source of revenue and the one you put the most, action into or most attention to?
Yeah. So I would say the coaching. You know, it's because I mean, what I do is mainly a knowledge based service. You know, like, hey, this is what's going on. I combine behavioral science with what we're doing in marketing, and that's really important because like the algorithms are always going to change, but the human is always going to be the end user. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's really important. But yeah, coaching is probably the most popular because people, I mean, they would much rather learn how to do it on their own. You know.
Right now, are you taking on clients?
Yeah. So I mean, we're always taking on clients.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Always looking to grow.
Yeah.
Evan's got something in mind.
I do have people in mind that I will refer to you, but also me and Marcel might need help in the future. So
yeah. Well, I mean, something that you mentioned like right at the beginning was like, oh yeah, and the 7 viewers, you know, but like I can tell you this. I mean, I do a lot of like used to be in-person trainings, you know, and I'm not sure like if you've guys seen like any of the posts from the past where I'm like speaking and stuff.
But, oh yeah, I've been following, man. I've been deep in your posts, man. All of us have, I think.
So like there are those, but now they're all online, you know, just like doing stuff like this. And I remember like 4 years ago, or maybe even 5 years ago, an organization asked me to speak for them, like do some trainings. I think I had like 4 people there. The next one I had like 10 people. The next one it was maybe like 2 people again. And like at that point I was just kind of like, man, like what am I doing,
Yeah, like a bruised ego.
and it just kind of like sucks because I'm putting in so much effort into this.
Mm-hmm.
And no one was showing up. Like fast forward now, I mean, there are some events where we'll have like over 250 in there.
Wow.
Yeah. I go in, or I don't even go in. Organizations go in, look at the comments, and it's just like, hey, when is Mark's next training? I wanted more of this,
Mm-hmm.
And it's completely different. But I like just to like let you guys know to like stay in there, because everyone else is going to drop off, and what you're doing right now is really fine tuning like your craft.
Yeah.
Because the way I taught back then, now that I look at it, it was bad. I was talking at like a really high level, just like saying, hey, using all this like marketing jargon that most people don't even know about, and they don't need to know it,
Right. Mm-hmm.
So now a lot of what I do is very simplistic. It's just straight to the point, because I mean, if we're talking about like behavioral science and why it's important to talk to post frequently, like like other business owners don't need to know like the science behind it. It's just like, hey, this is what works, do it.
It's the stat, right? They just want to see the stat of like, look, if you do this often, this is what should happen, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, over time though, like I know now, if I had the audience that I had, if I had the audience back then that I have like now when it comes to like online trainings, in-person trainings, no one, I would guess no one would really get any type of value out of it. But now, I mean, I hear it all the time, like, man, this is one of the best trainings ever. Like, I want to hear Mark again, things like that.
Yeah. That's awesome. That goes with that's the premise of why we're doing this. Like the gradual grind is all we knew coming into this, like there's not going to be something that we're going to do overnight and it's going to change our lives. And so, that's why we're documenting this. We're documenting our conversations with people like you who've been in it for a long time and are seeing those, those early hours pay off. But just to get like deeper, like what is your motivation? Like what keeps you going, especially during a time like that when, only 5 or 10 people are showing up and you're not getting the kind of results that you're looking for?
Yeah. I mean, back then, I mean, it's a little bit different, I mean, I've learned a lot,
Yeah.
Back then it was just like, I have nothing else to do, Yeah. Like, sure, why not?
Right.
And at that point it was like, I would much rather talk to 2 people and not talk to anyone.
Right.
I think I honestly I relate to that deeply, because even with these conversations and looking at the views that we get and knowing who's interacting, like I don't mind it, right? I'd rather have this conversation and have 2 people listen to it and maybe get value than just have these conversations in private and no one get anything out of it.
Right.
So I think that's a great point there.
Was it? Oh, sorry. You go.
No, I was just gonna say, like, and it translates to like business as well, like I mean, just because someone gets like a million likes doesn't mean that their business is booming,
Yeah,
that's true.
Like I'll be one of the first to say, like, my clients get really good engagement. I don't get that good of engagement,
right?
But like my DMs are like filled,
right? Yeah,
it's like there's a lot of vanity metrics that people look at, and it's kind of hard to like put yourself in check sometimes, but it's important to step back and really look at, hey, what's the main thing? Because for me, the main thing isn't how many likes do I get. The main thing is how many clients do I get.
Right. So,
dramatic pause.
Right. So the biggest thing for me, so I have a 9-to-5 job. Yeah. You started off 9 to 5, and you kind of also have that story where it was just like you just had this side hustle that kind of turned into making you, the good enough money where you could leave your job. Was there ever like a scary moment, like I don't have any security, if this fails, I'm screwed? Or were you just kind of all in from the beginning?
You know what? Like I mean, I was good at sales. I was decent. I was still very like young into the sales game, corporate sales. I was only 2 years in, and I remember I was like the 3rd best seller at my company, a really big company. So I was like, all right, this is cool, but they let go of me. And I didn't expect that. Like I asked someone in my family passed away. I asked to get time off. and it was around Christmas time. And they're
Mhm.
like, no, you can't get time off. And I was the only one that put my PTO in,
Yeah.
Um, but they wouldn't let me. And I said, okay, well, you didn't like tell me in time. So I ended up just leaving, because I
Yeah.
need to go with my family.
Right.
And they ended up getting rid of me. And at that point, I was just kind of like, okay, this isn't the right time that I wanted. Like
Mhm.
I'm not making enough as much as I wanted to on my side
Mhm.
hustle.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I think what was really important for me to understand is like, hey, I mean, I don't have a ceiling, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, I've been through times where like in business, it's just like stuff happens,
Mhm.
and I'm just like, okay, like what am I going to do now? It's like, what can you do? Go out and sell.
Yeah, figure it
Yeah.
out.
Go out and sell. And
Mhm.
so I mean, I've never. I mean, sometimes there's always going to be like those scary moments with like self doubt,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome.
yeah, absolutely. And but I'm sure like all of us have been in situations where we're just like, hey, I didn't think I was going to get out of that situation, but I got out of it. You
Right.
know,
Mhm.
and one of the biggest benefits is just like, hey, you're in charge of like what your output is. You're in charge
Yeah.
of your action.
Mhm.
Like I'm sure if you really really wanted to
Mhm.
sell anything like right now, like today you'll probably get someone to buy something.
Mhm.
Like, I'm positive of that.
Yeah.
You reach out to at least 50 people. I'm sure one person would have some type of interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
You mentioned Grant Cardone earlier, and he talks about that a lot. Like, he had some addiction issues or whatever, and him being addicted really kind of uh, proved to himself like when you want something really bad, you'll find a way to get it done. So like he kind of translates that over to sales and things of that nature. Like just figure out a way to get it done because if you want it bad enough, you can. So I definitely resonate with that.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to be like so complicated. Like
Hmm.
I think that's like the biggest thing. Like I think the people that try to make it so complicated are the ones that are trying to like mask like what they
But they
don't
don't
know.
know. Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
No, I definitely feel that. Like you go into something and you're thinking like you have to get all these proper things like set up paperwork and legal things, and you're not even focused on the real issues. We had a conversation with my cousin. He was in venture capital, so he does a lot of startup stuff. And I remember I asked him, I was like, "So do I need to like form an LLC and do all this?" And he was like, "Worry about the stuff, that kind of stuff, when you start, when you absolutely have to start worrying about that stuff. Like
Mhm.
actually do what you want to do first, and then the business stuff will just kind of happen, when it needs to happen." And so that's definitely something that I've learned along this process.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes I'll be doing the same thing. There's something I want to get into or a space I want to try out, but I'm like, but I have to get the website right. I have to do this right. I have to
Yeah.
do this right, just so I can like facade the fact that I'm new to the space,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? So
I mean, and
that's it.
that's like one of the biggest things. I mean, I see that on the coaching side. Like, hey, everything needs to be perfect. I need to have the right logo. I have to have the right name. I
Mhm.
have to. I mean, you need to have everything like perfect.
Mhm.
Like, sure, that's cool and stuff like that, but I mean, when you open up your website, how are you going to get people there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
Very true. Yeah,
So,
I think you had an Instagram post on that, right? I'll try
yeah,
to link it below.
I did one of those a while back, but it's important because like I mean like even the name, like no one knows what my company is called, like DGA, I mean that's
Mhm.
what it was called. I just switched it to Nanez Marketing because everyone says go talk to Mark,
Right.
so
Mhm.
um I make websites, and for 4 years I didn't even have a website. Did anyone ask me like where's my website? No one did,
Wow. Yeah.
so so that's what I'm saying. Like, keep the main thing the main thing.
Oh, okay.
Or, we were wondering what did
Yeah,
DGA
we were
stand for.
wondering what DG
Oh,
stands for.
damn good agency.
Oh,
He
okay.
has the acronyms on point, man. DTF, DGA. We gotta get on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean
So
I mean that's really what I've learned. Just like, hey, the audience, the exposure needs to be there.
So
Makes sense.
what kind of like client do you see like kind of a pattern in what kind of clients you're getting? Like, are they usually in the same industry, or are you kind of just spread out all over the board?
It's really all over the board because what
Mhm.
we're doing is just combining whatever their message, product, or service is, and we're
Mhm.
amplifying that.
Okay.
So as long as there's some really good communication, then we could pretty much help out anyone.
Awesome. That's
Sense.
awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely so I'm just gonna say it. Like, so I'm starting a trucking business, and that'll probably I'm studying for some stuff right now for like my 9 to 5 job. I have a test that I have to take in January, and then I'm moving in February. So I'm getting that up and going around like March. So I'll definitely be in contact with you to just get it all going, because
Absolutely.
one of the things that I believe is just having a professional look and image. And so yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna do it, jumping all in.
Yeah, that's it. That's important. And just always remember that. I mean, you're in control of your actions.
Hmm.
I mean, as long as you don't quit, you'll never lose.
Yeah.
What is the Grand Card? Don't call it a quitting bitch. If you ain't a quitting bitch.
So I mean, it's true though, because like I struggled with like anxiety like 2 years ago or something like that.
Hmm.
And like I pretty much almost lost like my entire business, and I think that was to me like my proving point to myself.
Hmm.
Or maybe it was like a year and a half ago. And like I remember I've always like had in my head like, I want a movie like made after me like later on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've actually
We
said that
t-
before. Like
Yeah,
everybody, I don't know
totally.
if everybody wants it, but like I feel like high achievers or people who want to be high achieving,
Yeah.
like that's what.
I think about we think about like what chapter is this gonna be and how are we gonna talk about it,
Yeah,
See,
right?
like my thing was like I kind of wanted to get fired from work because
Man, oh
we,
man, you just
we've all lived that. You were
I
ahead
was
of
just
us.
like, okay, well, like the movie wouldn't be entertaining if there like wasn't like a downfall.
Yeah.
yeah.
So when that happened, I was like, all right, like it's cool, it's whatever. But
Hmm.
then and that was like something I guess I mean I was good at what I did.
Hmm.
Like I had no reason to be fired.
Hmm.
And I didn't want to be fired at the time. But like now looking at like my anxiety and stuff like that, that was like almost like that's like the bad part of the movie for me.
Hmm.
So I kind of tried to manufacture something
Hmm.
like for my movie, but then something actually really did happen to me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, like man, that's not cool, but I guess it's good for the movie.
Yeah.
But I remember like I remember like losing pretty much like all my clients. I had an office, I had two people with me. And I like lost that. And then I started like slowly building up, building up, building up. And like since then I've already doubled like my revenue for the year.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that to me was like my proving point.
Yeah.
Like if I'm able to get out of that, if I'm able to grow my business on top of that,
Hmm.
what can't I do? Because I've always been big on like, hey, you gotta like envision everything. Like mindset is really big, and it came down to sports.
Hmm.
um and I guess I always believed if you like had the right mindset, it'll take you really, really far.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the anxiety, that took me to the opposite spectrum.
Yeah.
So I saw, okay, this is what your thoughts can do to like really mess things up.
Hmm.
So now, I mean,
100%.
that's been a good experience in my opinion, because now I can see, okay, if my thoughts can affect my life to this extent, what can they do as a positive for my life?
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
Hmm.
So that's been like really good, and I mean, it's been proving itself in my personal life, business life, and I'm actually grateful for going through all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think me and Evan can definitely relate to that. We've had some events in the past few years that have kind of been life changing. And I agree. It's like I believe deeply in the Stoic philosophy,
Hmm.
right? Of what you think life is what it is,
Yeah.
right? So if you have a negative outview in life and you think this sucks, that sucks, I mean, life's gonna suck.
Hmm.
But if you can think positively about it, like okay, this happened, but this is what I learned, then that's no longer a failure; it's a lesson, and you can improve on that and make it a positive experience.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And not many people like have gone through the experiences we have. So it's important to realize like that's, depending on how you look at it, it's a leg up on everyone else,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So would you like reflecting on yourself, would you call yourself like a hard worker?
Um, I want to say I thought I was a hard worker. I think I am now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the only reason I mentioned that is just because like when you got to that breaking point, something has to change, right? If like when things go bad,
Yeah.
was it your work ethic? Like, did you just have to work harder? Was it your strategy? Was
No,
it
I
the way
mean
you
it was just my mindset,
just your
I just
mindset?
went for I just went from a place where I was scared of everything, and like
Mm-hmm.
that's not me. You
Yeah.
know, my sister tells me that she mentioned it one time and I agreed with her. She said, "Mark, you're not afraid of anything, but if you eat like expired blueberries, you'll freak out." Like actually, yeah, you know, like any other situation, I'm just like whatever. But I got to the point where I was afraid of the rain. You know, I was afraid of the rain. I was afraid of everything, and that's not me. You
Yeah.
know,
It's
that's not
crippling.
me at all. I've never
Mhm.
experienced that, and that really threw me off because I didn't. I've never experienced that.
Mhm.
And then I was going to Miami to a Grant Cardone event, and I was and the year before this, keep in mind, year before this, I was out of the United States for like 3 months. I
Okay.
was in Toronto and Tokyo, and so I
That's
mean, I
awesome.
traveled a lot, you know,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and I was going on a plane to Miami, and before we took off, you know, like you're still like in the
Yeah, you're
tarmac, what is it called, or whatever?
taxing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
taxi. There you
Mhm.
go. Like we were about to take off, and I was like, I had like a panic attack, and
Wow.
I didn't know what like a panic attack was. I didn't know what anxiety was. And like
Mhm.
I don't know, I have maybe like 30 books on like neuroscience and psychology. I
Mhm.
don't have anything related to anxiety or panic attacks. And now looking back, I'm just like, it's such a common thing. Like why is it not in any of those books?
Mhm. Yeah.
Um
Definitely.
so we were about to take off and I freaked out. I pressed the button. I told the flight attendant like, hey, I need to get off the plane. Like I don't feel good. And they ended up turning around and then just dropped me off, and that was it. And I remember like that's like what scarred me, you
Wow.
know.
Yeah.
And it was just a combination of, I had some high profile clients and they were just being like really rude, like calling, cussing me out, stuff like that. And it wasn't anything bad that I was doing because we were crushing it. Like our results like speak for itself.
Mhm.
But there was, and this was on me, you know, there was a lack of me educating them on what certain metrics mean,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
So to a certain extent, I was too simplistic when it came to the explanation,
Mhm.
you know. So I think there's like a fine line, and I guess that started just building up, building up, building up, and I just started. I had a panic attack, you know, and
Yeah.
so after that, that's when I started being afraid of everything. I didn't want to work. I didn't want to get out of bed. Um,
Been there. Yeah.
yeah,
Rough.
and that's when I started like losing everything, you know,
Yeah.
and it just came to a point of, hey, like I know this is not what I want. I know I need to get some help.
Mhm.
Help. Started talking to like a lot of my friends about it, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, dude, yeah, I've had an anxiety attack before. Oh, I know what that is." You know, I'm just like, "How come I don't know what this is?
Right.
You know, how come you guys haven't told me you felt like this before?"
Yeah.
You know, I
So
mean, and
did you end up seeing a therapist?
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's when
Therapy helps people. Take therapy. Even if you
I,
don't think you need it, you'll be surprised.
and the one thing I heard from Grant Cardone like is every wait, you don't get help when you need it, you get it before.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
like I still see my therapist, but I mean for like the past year and a half, I haven't had an anxiety attack or panic attack.
Mhm.
For the past year and a half, we just talk about business, like because everything else is like chilling, you know?
Mhm.
It's all preventative stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but we just talk about business. It's nothing like, hey, how's your anxiety or stuff. It's just like, hey, so what's going on in business, you know?
Mhm.
But yeah, it's really important. I'm a huge advocate of getting help because, I mean, I never thought it would happen to me. You know,
Mhm. Yeah.
I saw what it really did to me,
Mhm.
and the thing is, I don't get a paycheck every month. You know, I have to perform every single time.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that really hurt me, and it set me back. But I mean, I turned it around. Like best year in business, and I'm really starting to feel like, okay, I think I have this figured out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that's really inspiring.
I think that's a great segue too. I just want to mention to anyone watching, like, I think you really played down all the things you do, because I've been kind of keep track over the years. You just follow each other on Instagram, and just the things you're involved in. Mark has a lot going on. He's a very busy dude.
Thanks, man.
But I think it's important to talk about like the actual journey of being an entrepreneur, right? Mm-hmm. So, for example, when I started my AAU team, and people think it's just like, oh, it's just coaching kids. Like, it's not. It's much more than that, right? Yeah. It's understanding the business side of what AAU is. I remember there were days where it's just like I didn't want to go to tournaments because I'm like, if these kids don't win, like it looks bad on me, right? Or like if I'm not performing, if I don't do this, if I don't do that. So I think there needs to be discussions on like what the journey actually looks like, because I think there's this narrative of, oh, entrepreneurship, you make all this money, you live this life, and I think Forrest mentioned it too, right? Where it looks all lavish, but then not understanding that while you're going through it, there's bumps in the road and how tough it could actually be some days. Right, like an understanding that everything that every dollar you're probably going to get is going to come from every action you take.
Absolutely.
And so understanding that, I think, is a good talking point here.
Well,
so one thing.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, the one thing, like, I've heard it from like my dad, is like you're gonna start to see everyone buy all these new cars, buy all these new things, Man, and I mean, I can tell you, like, I don't go out, I'm in bed by like 8:30. And I've kind of always been like that. Like,
I want to talk about that later too.
Like I was always at the gym. Like when I was in high school, I was always at the gym. I was I was at the school gym by 5:30 in the morning every single day, and like till today. Like, yeah, I don't go out. I don't go out at all. I don't care about like the cars. I had to buy a new car, and I was upset because I had to buy a new car. I was like, this is stupid. Like, why couldn't my car just last a couple more years?
Longer, yeah,
or forever? Just give me something that'll last forever.
Because the thing is, like I think a lot of people. I mean, Instagram has really amplified all these like what's going on.
Sure. Especially now during the pandemic, right, where everyone's like, start your own business so you can have financial security and independence, and it's like, it's not that easy, man.
Exactly. And the thing is, like even like with the car thing, like I go to events like for business. You get out of your car, you go to the event. No one thinks, okay, what does this person drive?
Right.
It's like the car doesn't go into the event with you. The car doesn't go into the bookstore with you, wherever you're going, it doesn't. So it doesn't matter. And like, another thing that like I really learned was like even when I would travel and stuff, like it was all off of points. Like I've like it's points.
Yeah, smart. Credit cards, man. We gotta figure that game out too.
Yeah.
So it's just like everyone's like, oh, how did you go to Tokyo and stuff like that? Mark's balling. I'm like, no, I'd spend my money wisely,
Yeah.
And the thing is, like all those things, like trips, like designer clothes, things like that. I mean, anyone could get a credit card and
put it on. Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's funny. I was just talking about that with my sister too. And it's funny because I'm looking at maybe trading in my car because it's having a lot of problems. Yeah. And I hate it, but it's like maybe I should look at something that's gonna last me a little bit longer. So Toyota, Lexus, something of the sort. And then I started looking at what some of these cars cost. And I'm like, I see my friends have these cars, and I know, not to be like an asshole, I know I make more than them. How can they afford that? And then she mentions like, well, you have to remember, people have credit cards. People don't have certain expenses. Like they could just literally go out. You can see someone with Gucci shoes, but then they have a $2,000 credit card balance that they're not going to pay off for years, right?
No, 100%.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about your I remember we kind of mentioned it earlier, a little touched on it. So when you left your job, right, you already had the side hustle going, and you started building your business. What were those first few years like, right? Growing this into something that was sustainable and actually helped you, you live this lifestyle and, continue pursuing what you want to do.
Yeah. I mean, my lifestyle is just stay at home or just go to the coffee shop. So COVID quarantine didn't really change much, like, everyone's like, how do you do it? I'm like, I've been doing this for years.
I'm used to this.
Built for this. I'm built different. So like, I mean, the first couple of years I plugged into BNI, Business Networking International. So I mean, just a business organization, really plugged into that. And I was like introduced to it from like corporate, because these organizations are all around the world. all around the world. So my biggest thing, and I'm grateful I plugged into Grant Cardone right after college, because it was like, hey, it's more of who knows you, you know? So let me join these organizations. That was really big for me. Let me go reach out to these individuals. That was really big for me. So it was, hey, how do I get that exposure? And now that's like really what I teach on now, you know, like, because you can have the best product or the best service, but if no one knows you exist, then what's the point? You know, they're never going to do business with you. If you don't exist in their head. So like the first couple of years was just like, hey, how do I get in front of more individuals? And the game's been the same thing. You know, during COVID, I was just like, all right, how do we stay in touch with individuals? Let's take our in-person events, do it online, you know? And I think the first like 2.5 months, there was about like 2,500 business owners in the online trainings, you know?
Dang. Yeah.
So, and that was me just saying, all right, so I need to capitalize on this now before all these other businesses start to realize, okay, maybe we should do some virtual events. So I just started reaching out to as many people as possible, as many organizations as possible. Hey, we're doing this free event. We're doing a free event. And that was really it. I mean, the game hasn't really changed. Just, hey, how do I get more exposure?
Yeah. So like, part of what you do is like consulting. So when did you develop, like, was there ever a second guess of your ability to get these results for people? Like, did you ever say, I don't know if I'm actually that good at it?
Like, when did you develop the confidence to like go about this route?
I mean, I think the numbers gave me the confidence, you know? But it's nothing like, it's not tough, you know? Like if you post consistently, if you do like the basic things, post consistently, go leave comments, go like other people's like content, like, you're gonna grow. You know, so but one thing like I bet on, and I'll tell other people, you know, like one thing I bet on is just like, hey, like they're not gonna do it. You know?
Yeah, that's literally something we talked about before, right? Like we could literally have friends like, hey, I'll give you $100 if you do this, and we know they have the result already. They're just not gonna do it.
No, and that's the same thing. Like, hey, if you eat super, super clean, you're gonna be like lean, you know?
Yeah, right.
Like, I just had 2 cake pops right now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know I got a whole pound cake in the kitchen waiting for me. So,
but I mean, it's simple stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Like before quarantine, I was happy with my fitness. And after quarantine, I was like, my family was in town. I was eating a lot of junk food, you know? But it was the simple things that I could have done. Just keep myself in shape.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense there. I had one more. Oh, this is what I want to touch on. I know you're busy guys. We're trying to be respectful of your time. But one thing I definitely want to touch on. I've seen your kind of routines, right? And I know you probably experiment a little bit. Our last episode was actually about routines and like trying to figure that out. So could you tell us what your daily / morning routine is and like how you go about your days?
I keep that on my calendar every day. So normally I wake up like at, I don't know, it would range from like 4:30 to 5:30, you know?
AM?
Yeah. I mean, most like lately it's been like 5:30, you know?
I'm sleeping in a little bit.
Yeah. I'll go to the gym, write down my goals, do some training in the morning, as in like sales training, you know, because still what I'm doing is still sales. Then I'll get some breakfast, then I'll do some admin work. Then I have a accountability group that I tap into at 8, you know, and
this
then
is
after that,
all before 8 a.m.
Yeah.
That's
man, it's productive efficiency. That's
and then at 9, I have the Grant Cardone mentoring training, and then we have team meetings after that at 10 a.m. And then I have meetings, and after that it's like sales meetings depending on what I need to get done. Then 3 p.m. we have another team meeting, and I mean those are the set things every single day, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what would you say after what would you say is your, I guess, stop time?
Yeah. Do you have like a
Or do
break
you-
point for work? Like, I'm not gonna work past this time, and I'm just gonna relax.
I mean, I try not to pass like 8:30, because I tell myself I need to be in bed. But like yesterday, I mean, I went to bed at 9:30. I was a little wild,
partying a little too hard.
Yeah, I was staying up doing some emails. So, and see, that's the thing. Like even like the post I did today, I heard the message from Ed Milet, and when in his latest podcast, he was talking about separation season. Like people aren't going to be working on the weekends. That's where you can get ahead. People aren't going to be working on the holidays. That's when you're going to get ahead. I was trying to do a partnership with someone recently. I'm not going to throw any names out there, but like everything was good, signed an agreement. They were supposed to help us out and ended up bailing on us because the excuse was, hey, it's the holidays. I can't fulfill these services because it's the holidays. Wow. And I'm over here like, I'm trying to help your business grow. First of all, I need your services. I'm trying to help your business grow. I'm trying to support you because you're just getting started. And the excuse is, it's the holidays. That's separation season. And that's a lot of people. They'll take their foot off the gas pedal, I took my foot off the gas pedal when it came to fitness during all of quarantine, that was separation season.
Yeah.
Now someone's a lot more ahead of me,
Yeah. 100%.
I think all of quarantine can be technically a separation season.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of businesses, I mean, I didn't use it as an excuse. I had the best year. I doubled my revenue, closed the biggest deals. Like I never thought I would close the month I had last month. I never thought I would have this year, but it is separation season.
Yeah. That's dope. That's just to hearing your routine is like, wow.
My routine sucks.
Well, I mean, like, so this is something that we mentioned like in our last conversation. Like, would you agree that like that getting up that early kind of fits your work schedule the best? Like, but all of those times could be shifted theoretically like later, right? So like instead of waking up at 5:30, you could wake up at 8:30, but then instead of going to bed at 8:30, you go to bed at like 11:30, right?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like, what are you doing with that time? I mean, I could wake up at 4:30, but if I'm just like not really getting work done, and exactly. Yeah. And I mean, what's the point, So you have to be like locked in. I think that's I mean, and the thing is like, you're not gonna be locked in 24/7 every single day,
Yeah.
That's the truth. Because I can tell you the past 2 weeks, they haven't been my best, like 2 weeks. And what we do for my company is at the end of the week, we have a checklist. Like, hey, how was your attire this week? How was your sleep? Were you drinking water? Were you eating good? Were you exercising? What was your performance like for work? What's your friend group like this week?
Dang, yeah.
Things like that.
That's important.
All that stuff does like come into factor how you perform.
Yeah, it's literally the energy you surround and you feed yourself with and you surround yourself with, right? Because I have to admit, I've had friend groups where I didn't get shit done because they were so draining. Like I felt just whenever I was around them was not productive.
What happens outside of work will impact what happens inside work,
Yeah.
And it's important to like keep those things like in check always. Because if you're serious about whatever you want to achieve, then your friend group has to also understand like, okay, this guy's serious. I know I play Fortnite. I don't play like crazy hours, but I'll play with my friends and they're like, come on, one more. But they know like once it's 8:30, like that's
it. It's a wrap.
Mark's out.
Yeah. And and they get used to it, it's just like, okay, Mark needs to go to bed for work,
Yeah.
So it's not like a big deal after that.
Yeah.
So I mean, like it's just like getting into the routine, but like for sure you can always push that out. It's really what works for you. I don't think it's like, hey, me waking up early. I think there's benefits to it, but if you're not going to be productive, if you're not going to perform at that time, then maybe it's not the best time for you.
Yeah.
Because I've also like read you're more creative when you're like sleep deprived.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm just like, and the thing is like, I'll read like up on things like this all the time, so I'm just like, okay, let me try it out, like, am I going to perform better,
Yeah.
But I realize what I do, I might have to be creative on some of the things that I work on, but it's like strategically creative. It's not like, hey, let me come up with this ambiguous idea that people might like. It's like, no, why are we doing this idea and what results is it going to bring to us?
Right.
So sleep to me is really, really important.
Yeah, that makes sense. Honestly, and I think that's a great point, right? Like you said, that it depends on who you are and what you're trying to accomplish. So I know your schedule would not work for me.
Yeah.
Right. Like I know me being up at 5:30 a.m. is not going to help me because I'll just be sitting there doing nothing, waiting for the sun to come up. But I know I'll be more creative at like 11:30, 12:30, right? Maybe even 2 a.m, because at that point everyone's asleep, my day's done, and whatever I've learned from the day, I can try to process. But I think it's important to understand who you are and what you're trying to accomplish, and then wrap your schedule around that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Marcel's definitely a late riser. I have like a 5-month-old daughter, so like no matter what, I'm up at like 6:30, and I text Marcel at that time. And I don't get a reply until like 10.
10 o'clock, sir. 10 o'clock. But today, I guarantee you, I'll have the most productive day. I slept well, I got up late, slept in. Get everything done.
That's hilarious. I got a ton of information, man. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. That definitely inspired me.
For sure. I think just to wrap this up, then, understanding your success and where you're at now, what's next? What's the next move? It's a constantly going journey. So what do you think your next move is to continue to grow?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm just starting to figure things out, I felt confident before. I feel even more confident after this year, for sure.
Okay.
And have the right resources, like my mentors, I pay for them, but my mentors, and I mean, next year, like I'm looking to, my big goal is to do $1 million next year, and when I look at it, it's just like, why can't I?
Yeah.
And like, that's really big for me, let's get some more property. So growing out my team, hitting a new goal in revenue, that's what I'm really focusing in on.
Man, that's awesome. That is awesome. I was actually going to ask you like what your goal was. Do you set monetary goals, or do you have like some monetary and some just kind of performance?
Oh, I mean, every day, right? I don't have my notebook with me. Every morning, like I said, write down the goals.
Okay.
So it's like I'm making $1 million, and then I break it down by the week.
Yeah.
I have 2,000 individuals in my online course.
Yeah.
I'm servicing my clients to levels that I don't even know are possible, because that's my goal. I'm eating clean for the mindset and the body that I want. I mean, I'll have some cake pops here and there, that's really important for me. So, like I'll break down those different goals every single morning.
That's dope. I've recently just started doing that.
Sometimes it changes, but that's part of it. Like you have to be willing to change. Like my goal before was like $500,000, and I'm just like, why am I thinking so small? It's way too attainable. Like why? Let's go bigger.
Yeah, I think Evan emphasizes that to me every now and then. So I follow Ben Wegman on Instagram, and we'll be like sending each other houses of like, oh, you look at this house, and he'll be like, bro, that's too cheap. It's like a $1.5 million house. It is true though.
Think right? Way bigger. I tell him all the time. You think it's small? Man.
Well, it's just crazy because like I'm telling you, I didn't think I was gonna have the month I had last month, and after that I was like, $500,000 is way too easy. It's too predictable.
Yeah.
So,
there's no movie on predictable, like
exactly
that, right?
Exactly.
Awesome, man. Well, Mark, I appreciate you for taking the time, man. I know you're a busy guy, so we'll be respectful of your time here. But it was awesome. I got a lot out of it for sure.
Hey, I enjoyed it. Thank you guys for having me here. I'm always like, just call me, text me, DM me, whatever. I got you guys.
Will do. You'll definitely be hearing from us quite a bit from now on.
For sure.
And eventually, hopefully, this will get to the point where we can eventually become your client.
Oh yeah, sign me up. But so you said you're changing your company name. So is your website still marknanez.com, or what is it?
Yeah, I mean that's my personal one.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're working on fixing up the next one.
Okay.
Marketing.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything you want to plug that we should add? Or
Yeah, we'll throw your IG on here.
Yeah, my Instagram, mark.nanez. That's pretty much it. You know,
Awesome.
like I do marketing. If anyone needs help with marketing, like hit me up. But I mean, it's important for me to help people out, you know, help them get the confidence that they need, the skills that they need. And I mean, you can just do that by following me on Instagram, you know. I share a lot of stuff that will help people out.
Yeah.
Sounds good. We'll definitely plug that. Hopefully some of my clients will reach out, and eventually we'll reach out, and maybe whoever Evan knows, and he'll probably reach out. So
Yeah.
we could all work together someday.
Cool, man.
Thanks, man.
Sounds
I
good, man.
appreciate
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that talk. There's definitely a lot of knowledge that I took away from that. Again, his name's Mark Nanez. If you guys want to hit him up, I'll put his social media information below or somewhere on the screen for you guys to follow. Again, he does marketing, advertising, coaching. So if you guys are starting a business or trying to run a business that needs some help, definitely feel free to hit him up. But Evan, what do you think about that talk? What do you think you took away from that?
You know, I took a lot away, like even just for like our situation. He's somebody who's gone through the process. You know, that's literally what he does, is he coaches business people. So that's going to be our resource. So I'm going to lean on him personally. And so other than that, just taking away, like, he just has that mindset. Everything, I feel like he embodied the gradual grind 100%. And everything that, you know, we're doing is is what he did and what he practices on a daily basis. Now his methodology of, like, you know, his routine and stuff, now that may not fit me, and that might not fit you, like how we talk, especially won't fit you.
Yeah.
But you know, there's general concepts that I think we could all agree are the reason that he's seeing his success right now. Yeah, I'm glad that, you know, we got to talk with him and kind of have that resource. I'm definitely going to take advantage of that.
For sure.
And I hope people watch this reach out too.
The crazy thing is, and this is something I felt with Forrest too. I mean, he's done it, right? Like he's built his business, he's running it, he's doing pretty well. And the fact that everything that he mentioned are things we've talked about in previous episodes.
Yeah.
It like solidifies. Yeah, it like solidifies everything. And there's several times, and if you guys watch the video, there's several times we mentioned, like, oh, we just talked about that not too long ago, or oh, we just talked about that 5 minutes ago, right? Like these are conversations that we're having, trying to figure it out. But it seems like people that went through the same thing figured it out, and that's why they're doing what they're doing. Right. So again, this one solidifies to me, like, what we're doing is important, right? Even though people might not agree with it, they might not see it. But these are things that actually happen, and you can get so much value off of just having these conversations or listening to us have these conversations. Let's plug.
Yeah, like I think that when he started talking about his mental health, I was like, oh, we had an episode on that, right? Yep. Then he was talking about routine. I was like, oh, we had an episode on that, right? Then he's talking about just the perseverance. We had an episode on that. Then he's talking about like just his transition. Oh, we talked about that with Forrest. Every single thing is like something we're covering those concepts. And so we're not telling you to do X, Y, Z to get to your personal business, like, you know, to where you're living your own lifestyle or whatever. But these concepts are what you need to take your purpose and use these concepts
and understand them, right? And talk about them and know what you're going through, because these things are important.
And we can say that as people who don't even have our own business. Like, this is something that it's in a 100% agreed on concept. All of this stuff matters. You don't. It's not like you have to own something to see that it works.
For sure. So and I feel like this could help you in so many different areas of your life. Like, not even just business, but like, let's say you have a job. Like, this could help you in your job, right? Figure some things out, or even your career, or your academic career, or just in life in general, right?
Yo, that, like, this is a whole different wave, but I thought one of the most kind of fire things that he said was when he talked about what him and his team go over, like, at the end of the week, where they talk about all the outside factors that are affecting them. Like, that's important. He cares about what's going on, and that's going to change the game for him. I know for a fact he's about to hit whatever goal he has.
Mm-hmm.
That
And I
man's a
feel like I'm
boss.
about to steal that practice, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna probably gonna steal that. But
Yeah,
that was
man.
awesome.
Yeah, that was definitely fire.
But yeah, go ahead and rewatch it if you need to. Go check out our other episodes if you want more information on what we think on those topics. And also, don't forget to hit up Loaded. You see Evan with the shameless plug, even though we're not getting paid.
Hey, it's a cold brand. Everyone doubted. Living off a dream, everyone doubted. I'm repping all the time, man.
We'll put the link
I
down
love
below.
the brand. Yeah, link down below. Get you some merch, holiday gear. It says it for itself. Everyone doubted.
And if it fits his big ass head, it can fit yours.
That's facts. Yeah, man. Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. We got about 12 hours of content now. Hey, y'all.
Man, y'all better
go ahead and catch up because we about to start taking off. We got more guests on the way. Again, thanks for watching. Catch y'all next time. Peace.